Welcome back to week 4 of FPL Faff with Jez, Jack, and Jim. I'm Jez.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Jim.
We are here to bring you the latest on everything fantasy. Shut the fuck up, Jim. We're here to bring you the latest on everything fantasy Premier League. Oh, Jesus Christ. One day I'm going to get through the intro without you interrupting.
Sorry, I'm on one. Hi, everyone.
So for our listeners, Jim is mildly to heavily intoxicated, so we'll see how this goes. And it is Monday night when we're recording this, and yes, he does have a problem. And not just the problem that he's, becoming a mid-table player, but...
first of all, rude. Second of all, outrageous. And third of all, you've had one good week. It's still not the end of the game week.
Have I had one good week?
It's still not the end of the game week. And yeah, you don't know
Look, man, all I'm looking at is a number one. That's what I'm looking at.
Do you know what?
Number
you deserve
next
it,
to my
mate.
name.
You deserve it. It's been, over, it's been a few years. So I think you deserve it now. For one
Jez, you should change your team name to I only pick penalty takers at Jeremy Crowd.
Look, criticize all you want, but number one. So suck a dick.
The game week's not over, dude.
It's not over
the
yet.
Game week is not over.
Well,
For our fans listening, we are recording this at 7:57 p.m. Liverpool and Arsenal are going to kick off in 3 minutes.
We're going to miss
So we'll probably be getting a bit of live commentary on that game as well.
We're going to miss the game just to do this, so that's big.
We were also planning on doing this earlier, but Jim has trouble reading clocks. So here we are.
Again, I was very punctual. I was here on time, waiting for you guys. It's a whole lot of faff. Get it?
Whole lot of FPL Faff.
Okay.
Right, let's crack on.
Just before we get into it, I just want to make mention of our our fantasy league code again. So if you do want to join in and play along with us, our league code is DKSORK. That's DKSORK. And we actually had a thought during the week. We didn't have many people in the league as of yet, but now we're starting to get some people joining, and we realized that we haven't actually mentioned what our team names are. So you can find me right at the top of the table for the moment, and my team name is Cop Out. Yeah.
Sorry. Also, it has our names on it, so you can digest what the rest of it will be. And
there's more than one person with the name James in the world, just so you know. You can find Jim at. Shut the fuck up. You can find Jim at Lapis Lazuli Optimum.
It's Lapis Lazuli Optimum, actually, which means best blues.
Do you know what? Yeah. Shit name, shit team, shit person. Jack, what's your team? What's your team name?
You can find me at Timpot Town AFC.
Great. So let's get into it. Manchester City. What a joke of a club. Thoughts?
Who would captain Kevin De Bruyne?
Who would? I think it was a much smarter choice to captain Raheem Sterling, personally. His 2 points were much better than KDB's.
City were poor, weren't they? They really were. What was it? 5-2.
5-2.
3 pens. You can't make it up. We'll go into that a bit later on. But City, they put on a poor show. Defensively, they're abysmal. They're looking at Ruben Diaz. They're looking to sign him this week.
Mm-hmm.
They are probably in need of a centre-back more than the majority of teams in the Premiership. I think
absolutely.
That you've got Otamendi going the other way in a separate deal to Benfica. But what they've got with Ruben Diaz, if I'm a City fan, I'm hoping you've got someone who's fairly young. He's got a few years left in him. But he's a good player, even now, fundamentally. He's able to stop goals from going in. So they'll certainly need that because they were very, very poor.
And I think the thing to mention as well is they were especially poor, even considering I think Ake had a decent game. I think he played all right, And when one of your centre backs plays okay and you get beat 5-2,
he bagged as well.
Some real issues. Yeah, he did. He was a fantasy turn-up king this week.
He was.
But no, Vardy though, man of the moment, scores when he wants, doesn't he? Scores when he wants.
Jamie Vardy. He scores when he wants.
He does. And to do it at the age that he is, he just seems to be getting better and better.
I feel like he's never going to slow down. Honestly, I thought he was going to go off because he picked up some sort of a niggling injury at some point during a game, and he was just like, what?
But are you going to bring him into your team, though?
See, for me, it's going to be a struggle to get someone like him in my team because of the way that I've structured it. I don't have a lot of funds up front, so I would have to get rid of one of my big boys in the midfield, and I'm not sure that I'm prepared to part with one of those guys just yet.
It's fair. It's fair, especially when they take pens as well and they get more points for.
They get more points as a midfielder.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, hey, I've got a similar setup with the formation and how I've structured my whole team. But I think Jack, your team is very much capable of potentially bringing in Jamie Vardy. Even though he's injured right now, would you be thinking about doing that?
I've looked at it. I've already made my change, and it is up front. So
Martial out,
and it's not Jamie Vardy. We'll get to that. We'll get to that later on. But I looked.
Oh, you got DLC.
DCL. Yep.
Yeah,
he plays for your team.
I've got Dominic Lewitt-Calvin up front.
That's it. I bring it. I like to mix it up.
Oh my god.
No, I haven't got DCL or Vardy, but he's someone that I looked at.
Patrick Bamford.
He brought Ings back in.
No way.
Why not? That guy keeps scoring.
He does. I'll tell you who does keep playing well though. Luke Castagna at right back.
He does. Yep.
I think that's 3 assists in 3 games for him.
He's going to watch, but is he going to continue that trend? I mean, what is he, 5.5?
He's 5.7 now.
Oh, there you go. That's pretty expensive for me. I mean, yeah, he's got 3 and 3, fair enough, but is he going to continue that? I'm not so sure.
I'm going to hold tight for now. I want to give it at least 10 games. I've still got James Justin in there, who's he's done me a solid. So
I think James Justin's turning up just as well. He's going to be just as good a player this year as Castagna.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Maddison's goal though. Bloody hell! Could he be someone you might want to get in?
Top bins. So I'm not sure. He didn't start at the weekend. I don't think he's made a start so far. Even though it was a good goal and he did make an impact, I'm not sure that he's going to get back into the starting lineup anytime soon. Anyway.
No, I think you're right. He's coming. I think Brendan Rodgers wants to ease him back in. He had that horrible injury towards the back end of last season, didn't he? Mm-hmm. So we'll see how he goes.
Signs, though.
Great signs. And Bamford.
I know. So
you did mention it earlier. We've got to talk about him at some point during this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Are we getting him in now? 5.7. Are we really jumping on the Patrick Bamford bandwagon?
The bandwagon, you might say.
He's coming up against City next game week.
Look, I'm saying no. Thing is, I think he might even score against City, but I'm still going to say no. I don't think Leeds are going to be able to sustain this throughout the season. I think they're doing great now, and I think they're full of goals right now. But I think they're going to struggle with the squad depth to maintain that.
Do you think they're doing in Norwich? Because they started really well last season.
I do. That's exactly what I think. Unless they get in some reinforcements to strengthen their squad, I think they're going to struggle in the mid to latter parts of the season.
Perhaps.
Also they've got Rodrigo sitting on the bench waiting to go. I feel like if Bamford goes a game and doesn't score, he's going to find himself on the bench real quick.
I hear you. I think they are going to do better than Norwich.
I think they will do better than Norwich.
Sorry, Norwich.
I think they're going to fade down the stretch.
He feels like one of them. If Mitrovic gets injured or he's on a bad run of form or something like that, he's a quick swap out for Bamford. I feel like he's going to be that kind of player for people who have already got him. Might be he might be that really cheap option that people might want to go for.
Absolutely, and if like me, you've got very very sparse funds to share around outside of your midfield, he's not a bad option.
No, he's not a bad option at all.
So, boys, how did we go this week?
Oh God, I'll go. It's been an absolute horrific one. I've got 25 points off 9 players. I've still got. It's just kicked off in the Liverpool Arsenal game, so I've still got Trent and Salah to play. My captain has been played. That was Timo Werner. Horrific. Son got me a solitary point. Reece James, who somehow got 1 bonus point. I have no idea how he did that. I only got returns of 2 players. Souček, who probably just summed up my week, said that he scored, and I looked back 5 minutes later, it got chalked down as an assist for a Jimenez own goal, which was disappointing. And then McCarthy in goal got me a clean sheet. So all in all, abysmal. But then I look at it as a total. I've got 170 points so far.
Yep.
if I get 10 points from these two players, I'm still at my average of 60 points a week. So it's not the end of the world, but it has made me seriously consider how I'm building my team for the future. I'm not going for a wild card just yet. I'm not even going to consider it until the transfer window is closed.
That's very fair.
Because there's a load of interesting stuff going on, and I wouldn't want to miss it. But no, it's pretty desperate. I was looking at Harvey Barnes, thinking, bloody hell, am I going to have to get him in for Son or anything like that? But
so that's an interesting talking point. Do you reckon Son is going to be out this week? Do you reckon he's going to play?
I think he's going to play. It's a -25. It's saying if he's not going to play the whole game, he'll play a whole half at least.
The hamstring, man. I think Tottenham have got some decent options. They've got Bergwijn, who's just waiting to. He's raring to go. Honestly, if I was Mourinho, I wouldn't be risking Son just for the sake of one game.
True, but they are against United, so.
Look, yeah, they are, but again, it's one game. You don't want to risk your player being injured for a longer period of time.
Correct. He's going to be staying in my team. I've already made a couple changes. He will be staying because I feel like he's definitely one for the long run. And in previous seasons of FPL, I have, fucked it essentially and took him out. And he continued to turn up, and I wasn't able to bring him back in for many reasons. Most of all, minus points and not having any wild cards or anything, and obviously just his value going up. So I feel like he's definitely one for the long term for me.
But see, in terms of value, how many people have got him out? I think I checked earlier today, and bear in mind we aren't even finished with the game week yet, and 350,000 people have got rid immediately.
Huge.
So he's not going to be gaining. He's not going to be gaining too much value in the next few weeks. In fact, he's probably going to drop 0.1 this week.
Without a doubt, he's going to drop it. So that's a good point to add. You could benefit from getting him out without him going down any further to bring him back in when he's cheaper before he turns up again. So, you can play, the game like that. And there's a few that I have done that with. But yeah, like talking about the games this week, the West Brom and Chelsea game, no one foreseen that, Chelsea were going to come back 3-0 down. Like, wow, everyone's captain has fallen short except for mine, who again didn't actually perform.
Little tiny turn up.
It was a tiny turn up. I took a -4 hit, and I didn't say that I brought in Kane in the last pod. I brought in Kane, and
you snake.
Yes, correct. I brought him in, especially after watching Spurs against, say, Southampton. They were incredible. Kane was on another level, on the next level, and I thought at home against Newcastle they'll do it again. And obviously we never saw that someone was going to get injured and come off at half time. And Newcastle played so well. I got to give them that. Their defense was great, and Spurs just had nothing. It was the worst Premier League game I've seen all season so far, and that's
saying something, because there's been a few absolute stinkers thus far.
Well, that was, for me, that was the biggest stinker of them all.
I got to say that the Sheffield Leeds game was dull. I think we called it in the last podcast.
I don't think so, man. We did call it. I mean, you definitely called it, but I thought it was entertaining, as in they were going all out, and they were counteracting each other with Leeds pressing so much. I mean, off the ball play was insane.
It was a very even game. I thought it would be a draw, but it was it could have gone anyway. And then Bamford at the end with a tame header, but it was a good game. They're two sides which, they could be fighting at either end of the table. It was a weird one. We don't know enough about them yet with 3 games, but whether they're going to be challenging for relegation or challenging for, decent spot in the top half of the table, it's too early to say, but I thought they were evenly matched.
So it's an interesting one with Sheffield, because I think they've got a good core squad, but they're just missing anything up front. They haven't even scored a goal yet this season. We're 3 game weeks in, they haven't scored.
The thing that worries me about Sheffield United is that, like, I feel like we quite often talk about how they're performing as a team, but for the nature of this podcast, there's not even one player in that squad I'd consider for my fantasy league team. Maybe the goalkeeper. Like, I wouldn't look at any of their forward players.
If you're not scoring goals, you're going to struggle to keep clean sheets, even if you've got the best defense in the world. Because if you're not putting the pressure up front, you're just playing in your own half.
Yeah, completely. I'm not been impressed with them. You really got to look for those gems that give you the points, and whether it's a goal scorer midfielder or a midfielder who's actually classified as a defender on BPL. You know, there's on FPL. There's all of these things to think about, and Sheffield just don't have. You know, it was Lundstrom last season, obviously, but
now he's a 5.5 midfielder and not worth it at all.
Not going near that. Not interested. No. However, speaking of players playing out position, I thought Souček was playing as a striker yesterday, and he luckily got an attacking return. But West Ham were incredible.
I can't believe that. West Ham, in my opinion, have been so dreadful at the start of the season. And then I switched on. I'm like, oh, right. Wolves are getting dicked.
Yeah, and this is a good Wolves side as well. And West Ham brought it. Do you know, I mean, my thinking with this is just because David Moyes wasn't there.
I mean, you know, you're not wrong. David Moyes is a pretty grim manager.
And I'm saying this from a Evertonian who, I mean, I never liked the style of play. He was a consistent, you know, he made us consistently 7th in the league. With horrible football play that we always scored last minute 1-0 essentially. But you know, we were a tight unit, and I am like, going in, but I just didn't like it.
Less successful.
I mean, no, I highly rate. He's much better than Mourinho, but yeah, I can see your comparison.
Moyes. You think Moyes is better than Mourinho?
No. I'm saying Mourinho is way better. I'm just saying, like, he's nowhere near as good as. Yeah, I'm saying he's nowhere near as good as.
That's literally exactly what I said.
Yeah, he's nowhere near as good as Jose. Yeah, I was just saying that's a superfluous comparison, but I hear you.
James uses a big word. Okay, whoa. Superfluous. Here we go. 4 pints down and superfluous comes out.
I've had nothing to drink. I find this really rude. Anyway,
you know what I found rude?
Go on.
That penalty, Manchester United.
Oh my god! I lost it.
I was loving that. I switched off the game. I was like, okay, this is done. I switched it off at full time, as you do, and then my phone just starts pinging because obviously I've got Bruno Fernandes in my side, and you two guys were going, oh shit, and I thought you were taking the piss. Switch back on just to see. There he is.
Not gonna lie, I was furious.
I was livid. I was absolutely livid. It wasn't. I mean, not only
after the full-time whistle as well.
Oh god, it was. I mean, it was a pen. Let's get that clear. It was a penalty.
It was.
But after the whistle got, and the fact it was Man United, just
they were terrible.
Cherry on the
Brighton
top.
was so good as well. Bless them.
Brighton have started the season off really well, or playing really well, and they really haven't got their reward for it.
They've been very good though. They have been good. I think they'll have a decent season. They just need a few wins under the belt, get a bit of rhythm. I think we talked about it last week. Lamptey's been very good for them.
He's been very strong.
He has. Morpie's already started to show what he can do. Tucks away the pen. He was decent. DCL. There's no getting away from it.
DCL.
He scored
Dominic
again. Is that 5?
Calvert.
Is that 5 for the season?
That's 5 goals thus far. He scored in every game. He scored a hat-trick, then one in the next 2.
He's been very good. And he's getting all the service. I mean, I actually looked at Richarlison potentially coming into my team.
He's smart to get in.
Yeah, very good player. But
he's 8 million. It is kind of smart. Is that the one that you haven't mentioned who you have brought in up front? So is that the sly one where you're thinking, I'm going to mention him but not say that that's the guy I brought in up front? Have you, Jack, just brought in Richarlison?
So he is not the striker that I've got in on the sly.
Who did you get in, you prick?
I took out Martial, and I had already had this person from the start of the season who actually hadn't come into my team at all. And after he played this weekend, I'm struggling to understand why I put him in before he played. I put Raul Jimenez in my team.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I mean, I called that.
Raul Jimenez
really?
is in my team for next week. And I will tell you very quickly why. I was looking at their fixtures.
Fixtures, yeah, it's insane. Yeah.
Yep.
They've got Fulham, Leeds, Newcastle, and Palace in their next four. That was too many good fixtures to ignore. They've had a shocking 4-0 defeat to West Ham. They need to turn it around, and they're going to turn it around 4 games in a row, and he's going to score a hat-trick in each of them. So I was I'm quite optimistic.
Who are you going to armband for next week, Jack?
Oh, good question.
Who am I going to armband? It could be Jimenez. Why not? He's a differential. Not many people have him. From kind of our leagues anyway, 23%. He's got Fulham at home. They need a result. He's probably better than anyone I'm looking at right now. Maybe Salah is an interesting one. De Bruyne against Leeds. I'm not too concerned actually. I've still got Werner at home to Palace. Like there's a lot of potential.
I'm not sure that Chelsea are going to turn up against Palace. If I'm honest,
I think they have to.
You do?
I think they have to.
No, I don't think they will.
And I mean,
they have to for sure, but I don't think so. I think maybe they'll win, but it might be like a 1-0.
It's the same for City as well. I think they have to bounce back from that defeat. And
thing is, you know that City are good for goals. I'm not too worried about that game.
No. I mean, Jack did mention it last pod that he was thinking of. You mentioned something about City, and even captaining Kevin De Bruyne, which I think you did. And tell me if I'm wrong. But you even said like you would have been more convinced if it wasn't against Leicester, and your gut was right that Leicester are.
I didn't think Leicester would. I didn't think Leicester. I didn't think they'd win. Obviously, I didn't think they'd win by that margin either. But I thought they'd give them a good game. Yeah, I wasn't so sure. I mean, but then who am I to say? I thought Timo Werner was. I thought Chelsea were going to win 5-0. I said on the podcast.
You did. I mean, you called it joke 10-0, but
I was convinced. I don't know. Part of me was thinking that Chelsea were going to rampage, and then it was 3-0 before half time to West Brom, and the whole thing's gone down the toilet. But speaking of players for next week, honourable mention for Jimmy Dunn. Where the hell has he come from?
I tell you where. I don't know where he's come from, but I tell you where he is in my team.
No, he's not. Really? Is that your one change?
He came straight in. That is my one change. Because look, I took a punt on Sturridge in week 2. He didn't play and he hasn't played this week. For 4 mil, I wasn't too upset about this, but Dunn is also 4 mil and he has been playing and he scored in week 1, I think. Or week 2 rather.
He did.
Okay, that's interesting. So Jez, on that note, what is your formation looking like for game week 4?
So I'll be playing a 4-4-2. Interestingly
Whoa,
enough,
JD style.
It's out of it's out of necessity more than anything. I didn't realize, but Jack Harrison is actually on loan from City, so he's not eligible to play the next game. So he'll be sitting straight on my bench. And so I brought in Dunn because he's going to play. I was going to have no players on the bench otherwise, and I would have had to play Stuart Dallas from Leeds against City. He might play well and he might do something.
He will play well.
I can see. Thing is, I could see goals in that game, I don't want a defender playing.
I think goals on both sides, but I do think City will take
absolutely, me too. So, have we got any other bargains that we have seen this week, guys?
Any bargains we've seen? Good question. I mean, I'm still loving James Justin. I think he's been a bit of a steal. 4.7 currently. Not quite a bargain, like an obvious one, but I think he will be a bargain in time. Reece James, I think at 5 million for what he's doing at Chelsea.
Yeah, I think he's 5.1 at the moment.
He's 5.1. I think people should be looking at him. I think he's on corners, he gets forward. They've only got to tighten up at the back, Chelsea, and all of a sudden you've got potentially a Trent in the making there.
Absolutely.
Don't want to hype him up too much.
No, I'm glad you mentioned him, Jack, because I've just seen that Gabriel hasn't started for Arsenal, and so he's going to give me 0 points, which is lovely. And he's also He's also 5.1. So I can't now, because I've already made a couple of transfers, and maybe for next game week.
Jim, rule number 1.
I know I've broken rule number 1 2 weeks on the bounce. But last week it actually did pay off.
Yeah, sure. But look, man, take some advice from the number one in the league. Follow rule number one.
I can't wait for this to go back to normal, where Jez is fighting relegation in the bottom of the league, and Jack and I are 1 and 2. Like, this is going to happen in literally a couple of weeks. But so, Jez,
Jim,
please
just saying
enjoy
you
it.
finished tied third in our league last season.
It.
Tied third. It's not second place. It's tied third.
Throughout the whole of the season, I was in second place, and I'm still salty over that. And
I believe what you were saying just a moment ago is it doesn't count until the end of the season.
No,
Therefore,
I said it doesn't count until the
third.
end of the game week. Yes, okay. Which we haven't come to yet. Still,
in about 60 minutes time, then I will be gloating, and that's okay.
That is okay. Yeah, but right now, eat shit. But no, I just want to tell everyone. So my 2 changes last week, I brought out Kai Havertz for James Rodriguez, and
James Rodriguez. Yes, that is the Liverpool way to pronounce
No,
his
it's
name.
just my way. Anyway, James Rodriguez. I watched the game. I was very happy with the game. Obviously, James Rodriguez was incredible, but not for FPL. And so I took him out for Kai, and Kai got an assist. So I fucked it there. But I took out Timo Werner for Kane, and I made it up with that. So that's what my -4 was, and I only just paid off. And obviously there's a lot of results that no one saw coming. And my 5-4-1 formation did turn up. Hopefully,
I don't see that paying off long term.
No, not long term. No, absolutely not. And my formation for this week,
it does.
My formation for this week is a 4-5-1.
Wow.
But I have mentioned that I have kept Son, so he probably won't play. And on my first sub, I've got...
I really hope he plays 3 minutes.
And on my first sub, I've got Ealing, who is going up against City, that we spoke before.
Ealing, yep.
So you've got Dallas, I've got the other side with Ealing.
He was great.
He picked up a bonus point. Yes, I'd love that.
He did.
And I think he will again. So if Son doesn't play, then I've got Ailing. And I have brought in 2 new players in my midfield.
Have you now? Harvey Barnes.
I mean, I had him from pre-week 1 and I took him out.
You did.
Which was a mistake.
And then you cursed yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a huge mistake.
Huge mistake. Who did I even bring him in for? Anyway, go on.
On that note, Jack, do you want to talk to us about the most transferred in and transferred out players of the week?
I will. So we're obviously recording this on a Monday evening. So we've still got the rest of the game week to go. But so far, I'll go with transfers in. So number 1, at a value now of 7.4.
Oh, sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you real quick. 1-0 Arsenal, just as we're speaking.
That is huge news.
So Lacazette has bagged, and Mane's got a yellow card.
Lacazette is someone we need to talk about as well.
Mane got a yellow card. It should have been a red, if you ask me. When you have a look at the replays, you'll see it. He's gone with an elbow into Tierney's neck. It looks like a red card offence. I was shocked it wasn't given. But anyway,
that's the ref being at Anfield. They always suck up.
And it was in the 3rd minute. It was in the 3rd minute. It could have been
scumbags.
Could have been a completely different game. But we'll start.
Yeah, that could have been a big blow. I was saying I wouldn't count Arsenal out for this game.
No. And Trent's already hit the bar.
I mean, sadly, I still think Liverpool will win, just because it's going to piss me off.
I hope so. I like it when you're pissed off. Makes me happy. I sleep well at night.
Transfers in, top 10.
Yeah.
Anyone want to guess who number 1 is?
Transfers in. Jamie Vardy.
Jamie Vardy, but he's injured.
So Vardy's number 2. Number 1, who's gone up 0.4 already, DCL.
Oh, DCL. Yep.
Anyone who's got him,
Of
they've already got
course.
that value.
I got him in for 7 mil just after he'd scored the hat trick. Oh no, just before he scored the
You
hat
did
trick.
well there.
Rather, I've made my cash off him.
But you should have
That's
captained him
unbelievable.
when you said you were going to, and I told you to.
Yeah, look, I should have, but Jim, as we've mentioned several times already, number one on the table, go fuck yourself, jog on.
Number 2, Jamie Vardy.
Jamie Vardy.
Number 3, we've already talked about him, Luke Castagna.
Yep.
Number 4, Patrick Bamford.
Mm.
Number 5, James Rodriguez. Number 6, Wilfred Zaha.
So Rodriguez, that's interesting. I am surprised because he didn't have a great week, and generally speaking, you've got to have a pretty good week for the masses to be getting you in.
I think he comes at
They're
quite
thinking
a
long term
tasty.
on fixtures.
I think so. The
Yeah.
fixtures are good, and he's got quite a tasty price point at 7.6. He's quite, for someone people who are getting rid of Son, it becomes quite an appealing option.
1-1, 1-1.
Wow, Sadio Mane has scored. That's interesting.
Huge.
And obviously, if that was a red,
Yep.
the game would have been flipped.
Oh, that's very
Fuck's
different.
sake.
That's annoying.
Oh.
Right, back to the pod. We've got Zaha 6th, Raul Jimenez 7th.
Yep.
Tarek Lamptey, unsurprisingly, coming in there at 8th.
Yep.
Danny Ings, number 9, who bizarrely has actually lost value. He's now 8.4.
Has he?
Unless he started on 8, I can't remember.
No. He was 8.5.
Yeah, he's lost 0.1. That's strange. And James Justin, number 10.
Yep. I fully expect to see him continue to be on that list every week.
I just want to mention something that you guys and maybe the viewers would like to hear when you're just speaking about players coming in, and one of my midfielders I brought in, and who I also feel is going to be a bargain because he has just gone up 0.1 at 6.6 now. Can you have a guess? Anyone?
Traore?
No.
6.6.
Who else was 6.5?
Foden.
Oh, Foden. Yeah, of course. Horny boy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh, don't say that. But yes.
Icelandic turn up. King.
Yes, I mean,
All
fair.
right.
Very good. Right, top 10 transfers out. Unsurprisingly, the big hamstring injury, hamstrung Son, is number 1 on the out list.
Really pisses me off.
Closely followed by Timo Werner,
Ooh.
both of which have
Yeah.
had over 350,000 teams get them out, which is a big number.
They've
Wow.
got him out for Dominic,
Yep.
Yes.
and it makes sense. And it's going to hurt me that
It
I
does make
don't
sense.
have Dominic, but I feel like Kane should do it.
Yeah.
I
As
am
an
going to
Everton
hold
supporter.
on Dominic, I think, for a little while. But we'll carry on with this list. Number 3 is Tony Martial, who I've also got out as well. I'm one of those 125,000 teams. Number 4, I haven't seen enough of Tottenham, but he definitely hasn't done it in points-wise. Matt Doherty is number 4 on this list.
Yeah, he's got to go.
The injury to San Maximan makes him number 5.
Yep.
Raul Jimenez, after his own goal, possibly makes him number 6.
I think that's an unwise choice.
It is.
I agree. Number 7 is the Fulham man that blanked this evening, Mitrovic.
That's also a strange one. For 6
No, I
mil,
don't
like,
think so.
Okay. No, come on, man.
You've got to
going
look
to do
at-
okay throughout the season.
Yes.
He's not your big point scorer, but for 6 million, he's okay.
But at the start of the season right now, it's smart. Later on, maybe bring him back in, cheaper perhaps. But right now, they're in very poor form. Very poor form. Why would you bring in someone that has got the quality and is a proven goal scorer, but is in a team right now that are performing badly? You just won't bring them. Why would you do that?
I don't know, man. I still think Mitrovic exists by himself. He just gets goals even if they're getting thrashed.
And that's very timely coming from you, Jez, because he also takes penalties, something that you're very fond of in your team.
Look, we were talking about this earlier in the week. I think the VAR penalties especially are kind of ruining the game. But equally, am I going to cash in on fantasy? Of course I am.
Absolutely.
I got a
silly not
Salah
to.
assist, by the way, guys.
Salah assist.
There it
Love
is. Back in the
that.
turn. Number 8 is Keenan Davis. He's a £4.5 million striker who's got 1 point all season, no surprises.
Yeah. Okay.
Number 9 is Aubameyang.
Yep.
And number 10, who again a lot of teams had him in right at the start, and he's done very, very little to justify that. Is Adama Traore, who's been very, very poor, for lack of a better word.
Only FPL firms actually. I've watched every game, and he has still been playing exceptional.
He has. I
He
think
has.
he's due to turn up.
He is.
And especially with the fixtures they have coming up, I think he could be a differential turn up. If he
West
drops
Ham
value this week.
Yeah, West Ham just played it really well, but he's been playing excellent as a like James Rodriguez. Other than him turning up in the first game, he has been incredible, but just not for points wise for FPL.
Yep.
Now, shall we get on to? We gave it a pretty poor attempt last week, but game week 4's fixtures. And they're coming back to haunt us. The first fixture is Chelsea. So,
who knows? Chelsea is such a mixed bag at the moment.
Oh God, who knows? I mean, and Palace have done fairly well. You got to say.
I'm calling this 1-1.
1-1. I'm gonna go 3-1 Chelsea.
Okay, Jim.
I do think Chelsea are going to win. I'm going to say 2-1.
What? 2-1. Okay. Everton, Brighton.
Do you know what I think? Actually, with how I saw Brighton, they were so good against United. They're going to be really bitter, and as they should, over that loss. I feel they should definitely have taken at least a point. I think they're going to bring their absolute A game, and Everton are going to need to. I mean, Palace also played really well against us. We struggled to get to to finish off in the final third, and we were very lucky with the VAR decisions with the handballs, which I don't really want to talk about too much because it's an ongoing thing that we're always going to have to discuss about. This season, I obviously want an Everton win. I feel like Brighton. Honestly, it might be a draw.
Really?
Yeah, I think it might be a draw. I think it's going to be 2-2.
I'm going to go 1-1.
I'm also going to go 2-2. And just to interrupt again, there's a goal in the Liverpool game. Andy Robertson scored.
Oh,
so it's now 2-1.
Fuck's sake! Who got the assist?
So I asked Jim earlier in the podcast very politely to suck on a phallus. Jack, do you want to suck a dick as well?
Oh, that has absolutely killed me. Oh, right. Moving on. This is actually a game that I want to watch, so we'll rush through these fixtures quick. Leeds City.
This is City. It's going to be 4-2.
Yeah, I hear you. I think honestly, even with that result as well. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to go 3-0 City.
Wow. Okay. Newcastle, Burnley.
It's going to be an awful game. Burnley going to win. Burnley going to win 1-0 right at the end.
Oh, this is the shit game of the week. Okay, Jack.
Oh God, I'm going to go 0-0.
Oh, that's the worst.
I'm going to go 1-0 to Newcastle. It's going to be a really scrappy goal that has something to do with Andy Carroll. Right, Leicester, West Ham.
Both coming from incredible games. I'm going to say Leicester 2-1.
Look, you've got David Moyes coming back into the fold, so it's got to be Leicester 3-0.
Okay.
I'm going to go 3-1 Leicester.
All right, Southampton, West Brom.
2-0 Southampton.
Okay, I don't agree.
I think Ings is going to score again.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much a given. Every week we say Ings is going to score, but we're not going to get him in, and then he scores, and we still don't have him in.
I know. I don't know why.
We're just not very smart people.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 2-1 Southampton.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also going to go 2-1 Southampton.
We're thinking the Saints win all the way.
Yeah, I think so. Arsenal, Sheffield.
2-0 Arsenal.
I think it might be a 1-0 Sheffield.
Whoa. Okay. Incorrect.
Wow.
This is going to be 3-0
That
Arsenal.
might be because I took out Aubameyang. Whoa.
Whoa. Do you know, I took him out for Sterling this week. I hope that Aubameyang does nothing today, and I hope he does nothing next week. I hope I'm wrong, I want Sheffield to win 10-0. But
Wolves,
it's not going to happen.
Fulham.
This one has to be a Wolves win.
It will be.
I think Mitrovic will bag. I think it'll be 2-1 Wolves.
I'm going to go 2-0 Wolves.
I'm going to go 3-0 Wolves.
Okay. Getting progressively higher as Jim gets progressively more drunk. Fine.
Man U Spurs. Oh, always a good one.
Interesting.
I'm looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be very controversial, like the others have been. I think it's going to be a 1-goal between the two. It's going to go 50-50. There's probably going to be a penalty. Well, there's definitely going to be a penalty. And I'm going to say 3-2 to either side because I just can't pick it.
Wow,
but
okay.
I think potentially it'll be a 3-2 to United.
I'm going to go 2-2.
Yeah, I'm not sure where to go with this one. I was thinking 2-2 as well, but...
You just know something like that's going to happen as well.
Do you know what? I'm feeling a Spurs victory here. I'm going to go 2-1 Spurs.
I want a 3-0 victory and for Spurs, and Kane takes it all because he's probably going to get my armband. So
I would love it if Fernandes slots away 3 penalties. That would be good.
He's also smart to get an armband on.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about next week, but after that, maybe. The last fixture of the week, Villa, Liverpool.
4-0 Liverpool.
No, I'm going to say 2-1 to Liverpool. Grealish will score, or hopefully Watkins. Actually, he's going to score.
Hopefully not.
He's going to score. Ollie Watkins, and it'll be a Salah and Trent goal.
No, do you know what? Actually, I'm changing my mind. I would like Villa to score against Liverpool, but Liverpool to win, as I don't have any Liverpool defenders, and most people do.
You took Trent out. Oh, interesting.
I took Trent out after week 1. I've reinvested that in my midfield.
He's got an assist though tonight.
Does he?
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
Yes, he has.
Days.
Yes, he has.
But do you know what? I'm okay.
My
with
week
it.
is starting to look pretty good now. I'm just a little bit bitter that it's down to Liverpool that makes my week look good, but
Look, I'm sitting on
Needs
46
must.
points with Salah still playing. From a shit week, I'm okay with that. So I think it's going to be 2-1 to Liverpool next week.
All right.
Nice.
There you have it. It.
That's it, guys. This has been good. For all of our listeners, make sure to follow us on the socials. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can find us at FPL Faff. And once again, if you want to join our Fantasy Premier League mini league, you can join that with the code DKSORK.
And comment on anything, any views, any opinions. We all love to hear it. Especially if I'm
starting
wrong.
to get the comments rolling in on YouTube. I'm going to give a quick shout out. I need to find the name. What was his name? It was like Ace something on YouTube. Somebody's commented and they've joined our league, and I'm getting a little bit worried that they might be overtaking me in the league.
I hope so, mate. You can do it, Ace.
Yeah. No. So he's on his fantasy team. He's called the Fan Team Menace. Darth Hall. Oh,
love that.
Come on, I can't get overtaken by Darth Hall.
Yes, you can, and yes, you will.
Yeah, I will. But come on, man. All right, guys, this has been fun. Let's go watch Arsenal. Let's go watch Liverpool dick on Arsenal.
Great. See ya.
Bye bye.